Auburn Tigers, Deanna Gaston, second leading scorer in the SEC. She had 30 points her last time out against Ole Miss.
Well, over the last 4 games, she's scored no less than 29 points. She has been the major offensive factor for the Auburn Tigers and much needed on the offensive side. She reconnected with Johnny Harris because she knows that Johnny Harris can help develop her post game. So we're going to see her put all of that work to action today against LSU.
Auburn made the dance last year under then third-year head coach Johnny Harris, now entering her 4th season. 9-5 start, and they've lost 2 straight after a 4-game winning streak, battling some injuries. And yeah, that's Kim Mulkey, year number 4 in Baton Rouge. Wait a second. No, it's not. It's Dressed Like Kim Mulkey Day, the legendary national championship winning head coach. Hard to miss even on this day. Just about set, ready to go. A lot to talk about on an action-packed day in the SEC, and the opening tip controlled by LSU. Here's Michaela Williams, 16 points per game in action off the screen.
Oh, she traveled.
Early turnover for LSU. And the Auburn starting 5. They've had 9 different starting lineups before today. This is the 10th. Led by Gaston, Taylon Collins, Soraya Daniels, SEC Freshman of the Week back in December.
We heard Alyssa Lang and Kelly Harper talking about the matchups last season. Auburn was able to beat LSU in Auburn, and it was based on their defense.
Gaston inside. And a foul over the back. And that'll be the first on Deanna Gaston.
That's crucial. She talked to us at shoot-around this morning that she had to stay out of foul trouble. Getting one, going after the offensive boards, that really hurts.
Scoreless game, nearly 1 minute in. Tigers undefeated, one of 7 remaining undefeated teams in college basketball. Runner for Anissa Morrow.
Roy, what'd you tell me? That's one of your favorite players.
Easily. Since she was a freshman at DePaul, just finds ways to get rebounds, and she can score.
Kim Mulkey says Anissa Morrow is a walking double-double. She plays with such high energy on both the offensive, defensive end, and on the glass.
88 career double-doubles coming into today, 14 this season. A machine would be an understatement. Bostic launching. It's a shot she's going to have to make if Auburn's going to pull the upset today.
Yeah, LSU is going to dare Marshawn Bostic to shoot the ball.
Poa caught on the baseline. We'll take a look at the starting 5. This lineup, perfect 5-0 this season for Kim Mulkey. They've utilized 5 different starting lineups so far this season. Open look, Soraya Daniels, no. And it's back to LSU. In your mind, how can Auburn find a way to get buckets today against a physical, oversized LSU defense?
They got to run. They got to push in transition. If they get steals or rebounds, to come down the floor and try to score the basket, score the ball before LSU can get their defense set.
Nice grab by Morrow inside, and she's got 4. Tough.
And she's got that dog mentality. She had it at DePaul, and it has not let up since she's come to LSU. And remember, she was able to get double-doubles, and she played alongside Angel Reese last year. They were battling on the glass.
It's amazing anybody could get a rebound outside of those 2. Tap back to LSU, already ahead 4-0. Flage in transition, behind the back. And an offensive foul. The charge was drawn by Collins. So the first on Flage.
Kim Mulkey's okay with that turnover. I don't know. She was moving. I think defensively, you have got to get 2 feet down facing the offense. I don't know about that one.
Brian Hall, our referee today. Iffy Seals, Kyle Bacon, part of this veteran crew. Auburn still without a bucket. Coach, you were on it yesterday, too. And you making calls. It felt like you were right, and maybe others were not. There's another offensive foul. See the injuries. That's really the key story thus far for Johnny Harris's club. Savannah Scott out for the season. Duhan's been out. And Talia Scott is the big one. over 20 points per game.
Yeah, to transfer in from Arkansas, this is a player who can definitely score the ball. She was averaging 20 points a game.
Gaston inside was bumped and fouled, and number 5 will head to the line.
Yeah, Auburn's got to be patient. Anytime that they can move the ball around and get the ball inside to Gaston, Gaston more times than not is going to score it, or she's going to get herself right there to the free throw line.
Stepping out for a moment, Soraya Daniels. Gaston at the stripe. 74% free throw shooter. 30 of Auburn's 58 points in the loss against Ole Miss. Don't forget our next women's basketball doubleheader here on SEC Network Thursday. Georgia AUBURN now. Big Blue Nation there. Kentucky taking on Florida down to the O-Dome in Gainesville. Coverage tips at 5 Eastern. It's Thursday, January 9th.
Kenny Brooks has done a phenomenal job since arriving in Lexington. And not only Georgia AUBURN transferred, they also have Clara Strack, post player, very similar. Remember, Elizabeth Kitley played at Virginia Tech. Strack's got a similar style of the game. Yeah,
America remembers Elizabeth Kitley and the great job she did. And Kenny Brooks in Blacksburg, now in Lexington. Morrow in attack mode. Dumps it off. Wolfenbarger lost it. And Daniels receiving treatment in the SEC Freshman of the Week early last month.
Wrap those 2 fingers. She said wrap it up and get back in. Johnny Harris wants her team to toughen through some of these hurts, these aches and pains that our players have experienced.
Open look from distance, and it's all net. Nadia Young.
Nadia Young's got game. She can shoot it now, and her mama can shoot it as well. Carolyn Jones, CJ, when she was at Auburn, look, she scored so many points. Her jersey is hanging from the rafters at Auburn. So it's in her DNA. She's got to be a scorer.
35% from downtown this season. Auburn has its first lead. Coach, imperative that the Tigers from Auburn get off to a good start here and have a chance to pull the upset, as we talked about a year ago.
Well, when you're playing on the road in the SEC, you want to, as much as possible, try to keep these fans out of it, because they can get rabid here in the Pete Maravich.
Bostic will take her time now attacking. Sends it under the backboard. LSU controls. Samaya Smith that came away with it. Lajay Johnson from the corner. Zumbani with a rebound. Auburn back-to-back losses against Norfolk State and Ole Miss to open league play. Gaston inside and a tough finish in traffic. 4 early points for Deanna Gaston. And Johnson checked that. Morrow fouled on the other end.
Deanna Gaston came to Auburn because she knows the post coach that Johnny Harris is. And watch the positioning that she gets. Oh, that's the other end. That's Anissa Morrow.
Morrow at the line, 76%. Bostic picks up the foul. The art of rebounding, is it genetic? Are you born with it? Can you learn it if you're a player? Because Anissa Morrow, maybe it's all the above for her.
Let me tell you what rebounding is, Roy. It's want to. You got to want to rebound. And Anissa Morrow has had that really in her DNA. Her father played football. Her mother was a great basketball player at the University of Nebraska. So, yeah, it's in her DNA.
Gaston the elbow J. Auburn gets it back. Collins will try to track it down again. And it's Auburn basketball halfway through the first half. 7-0 run for Johnny Harris's team as the team lighting up, Coach. And I tell you what, Wendy Lipsy there in gold. She's got the impersonations down to a T. And in fact, the entire game, we've been made aware that she will be imitating Coach Mulkey in a similar fashion as to what you're seeing now.
I don't know how often Wendy is going to be watching the game as opposed to watching Kim Mulkey, because she is going to try to emulate the actions of Kim Mulkey on the sideline this whole entire game. And listen, if the LSU Tigers don't get some more points on the board, she may be more animated than we can even handle.
Coach, I mean, the likeness, uncanny, unbelievable. Right down to the hairstyle.
The hairstyle to the wig. That's awesome. That's dedication.
5 minutes in, Auburn with a 2-point lead on the road. Adia Young on the move. Outside to Collins, and a massive step, and Auburn turns it over. Collins travels. Taylon Collins turns it over. Johnny Harris, her New Year's resolution, going to hear from her later. Toughness. Her team has shown it so far.
And shoot around, she talked to her team about being warriors, being on the road here at LSU. And so far, they've been exactly that.
Here's Collins on the other end after the steal. 9-5 Auburn.
LSU's got to settle in. They've got to get the shots that they want. Kim Mulkey is a coach that likes to play from the inside out, but the pressure that they're receiving right now from Auburn has made the offense tough.
Galen Gilbert hits every inch of the rim, and it finally drops. 9-7. Gilbert hit the game winner. Arizona transfer against Washington earlier in the season. It's an LSU roster loaded with talent again and poised for another deep run in the NCAA tournament. Young, the quick trigger. Tracked down by Morrow. Flage. The crossover, the spin. Wanted the foul, didn't get the whistle. And a scrum and a jump ball. It goes back to Auburn. Moments ago, Taylon Collins in transition.
Well, the defense has been phenomenal. Very active, and then getting down the floor before LSU can get back. I'll tell you, that'll make Kim Mulkey pull her hair out.
Well, you heard Alyssa Lang and Coach Harper talk about it in studio before we got the toss. Auburn defensively, think about a Johnny Harris coach team. You know that they're going to get after you. They're only giving up 55 points per game this season. They're going to be physical, and so far all those boxes have been checked.
When you look at a program like LSU that a couple of years ago won a national championship, it can be intimidating. But last year, Auburn had the experience of knocking off LSU. So they have the confidence, if they stick to the game plan, they could possibly pull the upset.
Adia Young from downtown, and it's 12-7. Young's got 6. Well, that win, it was also a close game here at the PMAC. They won in Auburn. It was competitive before things got away from Auburn in the SEC tournament in Greenville. So the experience of 2 games, including one upset win, certainly carries over somewhat. Flage attacking.
Now, Flage's got to be that girl. She's got to be that scorer that steps up for LSU.
20 points per game this season, 6 rebounds per contest. Releasing albums to start the year as well. The regular season began in November. And there's a foul. Morrow took an elbow to the eye. And Subani wondering what happened there. There was clear contact.
Great move by Flage Johnson, the slasher. She finds a seam, the body control to avoid the charge and get the finish.
Gilbert trying to spot Morrow. Great cut, pass, tapped out. Morrow inside that position, and that finish. 7 points in the first quarter for Anissa Morrow, and a great dish coming in from Poa.
I don't believe a play needs to be called or drawn up for Anissa Morrow. She's just so active and cutting, and if you move, the ball will find you.
Sumbani off the fake. Here's Collins baseline. Up and in. Found a crease.
Dribble drive action from Auburn. If you don't stay locked in defensively, they can pick you apart.
LSU an impressive road win to begin SEC play at Arkansas on Thursday night. Tomorrow the step back. Tracked down by Wolfenbarger. And a turnover out of bounds.
The activity of the movement, Anissa Morrow getting the backdoor cut against the pressure defense. That's how you relieve pressure. But then on the other end, to be aggressive to the basket, make the defense rotate, you can get easy twos.
Collins and Morrow matching buckets. On the other end, a foul inside. It's Bostic that missed the layup initially.
And Johnny Harris is stealing minutes for Deonna Gaston to be on the bench to finish the first quarter when they have a 3-point lead.
Off the bounce, here's Young. Up and under. Found away. 8 points in the early going for Adia Young. She averages 6.5 per game.
But she knows that she is going to have to produce points. That's been the issue. Auburn can defend you, but can you score enough?
9 points for Auburn off of 6 LSU turnovers. And the lead is 5. The visitors from the Plains. Poa checks out. And Cheyenne Day Wilson checks in, the transfer from Miami. RJ Johnson only just that one bucket.
And both of these programs have talked about wanting to have that strong point guard leadership. LSU's looking for it, as well as Auburn.
Flage baseline. Off the pump fake is Williams. Mid-range. And LSU stuck in that second gear so far. Almost at the end of the quarter. Auburn's trying to build on a 5-point advantage. Soraya Daniels. In and out. Day Wilson clears. Shot clock is off.
Day Wilson needs to look for Michaela Williams. Number 12 in white. That's the shot. That's the money.
Far side of your screen in the corner. Day Wilson to Morrow. And the rebound cleared by Auburn with time. And Bostic unable to get a shot away. New Year's resolutions coming up for both.
And talk about it.
Deonna Gaston setting the tone early for Auburn in the second quarter. With a breather for head coach Johnny Harris. In Auburn, a 5-point lead. Carolyn Peck, Roy Philpott, glad you could join us. Happy New Year. And LSU undefeated, 6th in the country. Being tested early by upstart Auburn, battling injuries and everything else this season. Tigers have battled on the glass, most importantly, Coach. You said that is key number 1 for Auburn to spring the upset.
I have been so impressed with not only the defense, but the ability to keep LSU off the offensive glass. They've also been able, Auburn has been able to force LSU into turnovers. In that first quarter, 6 turnovers. They turned that into 9 points.
Jump ball, possession arrow gives it back to Auburn. Taylon Collins has been active to start, 14. With possession and the handoff to Bostic. Picked up by Day Wilson. Shot clock down to 5. 2 to shoot. Outside to Bostic. Morrow, a rebound. Leading rebounder on the planet. 14 per game coming in for Anissa Morrow. Right, that's valid, right? Nobody out-rebounds Anissa Morrow in any sport at any level.
No.
She leads the earth. In the corner. Morrow on cue. 9 and 4 for number 24.
And looking over at Kim Mulkey, she just throws her hands up. She's like, That's just what she does. Anissa Morrow is going to clean up anything in the LSU offense getting on the glass.
She also wants to be a broadcaster, by the way.
Yeah, she's done some shadowing. She knows the sport. She lives, eats, dreams basketball constantly.
Bounce pass out of bounds, but last touch by LSU.
Talk about the art of offensive rebounding. You got to anticipate the shot so that you get that good position, pushing in on the backside to be there for the putback.
I mean, there's just certain rebounders that know where to be when the shot goes up, and it's almost inherent the way that they go about their business. Morrow's in that category.
Well, and also as an offensive rebound, sometimes you sacrifice positioning yourself to score because you're putting yourself in the position to rebound.
The rebound first mentality. Auburn on the turnover gives it back. The shot clock violation. All right, we saw a game earlier today over in Starkville where Mississippi State playing at home, got off to a good start against South Carolina. Coach, you and I were watching courtside here. It was Bulldogs by about 8, 5 minutes to play in the first half. We stepped away for a moment. Literally 10 minutes real time later, Gamecocks had a double-digit lead.
Well, I saw the Gamecocks take their game up another notch when Ashlyn Watkins went down and had to be carried off the court. Everybody else, the intensity picked up. Tessa Johnson got on fire from the three-point line. South Carolina, they have so many weapons.
Second foul on Sumbani. Inside to Smith. And Samaya Smith connects.
Smith got off to such a great start last season, then had to go out with injury. So Kim Mulkey is just ready for her to get back into the form she was last season.
And this crowd back in it for the first time today. Offensive foul. Morrow hit the deck.
Execution underneath, out of bounds. Terrific screen by Anissa Morrow that opens up Smith to curl in the middle of the lane.
Milton picks up her first. Back to work, Anissa Morrow, the crossover. And the free throw. She said that's 2.
And I believe that's what LSU can do all day. Just keep it a simple floppy action. Get the ball to the wing, then inside to Anissa Morrow and let her go to work.
Coach, was she saying that's 2 in terms of free throws or that's 2 in terms of fouls on Gaston?
I think they're keeping track of fouls on Gaston because they know that's the primary scorer for Auburn. A player that has averaged over 30 points a game, almost 31 points a game over the last 4 games for Auburn.
Coming up Thursday night on the SEC Network and the app, it's a men's doubleheader at 7 Eastern. Number 10, Kentucky squares off against Georgia in Athens, followed by LSU and Mizzou in Columbia at 9 o'clock Eastern. Tuesday night hoops. We are back. Men's and women's college basketball. The 2 leagues, if you will, combined to have 18 teams ranked in the combined AP top 25s. LSU back in front, by the way, now 17-60. And it's been the Anissa Morrow show to start. 11 points, 4 rebounds already. Nadia Young too strong. Morrow. Flage on the move. Up and in.
The defensive intensity has picked up for LSU.
Johnson a steal and a foul. He'll go against Young.
Flage Johnson, if nothing else, lead by example, bringing the defensive pressure. Listen, Flage has championship experience. She was a freshman when LSU won their championship. She understands the level of intensity you got to bring when it comes SEC play.
8-0 run for LSU. They're starting the quarter down 16-11. Day Wilson. Bostic will track it down. Collins on the baseline.
You know, Auburn's getting the shots they want. Some of these are uncontested, just not able to consistently knock them down. That was a good shot by Collins.
Off the inbounds, a shot was tapped by Smith on the way up from Collins. Johnson the bounce pass. Stolen twice. She'll get it back. Stays on this end. Kind of a helter-skelter beginning to our second quarter. That probably suits LSU just fine. The defense has been there, to your point.
Yeah, with the defensive intensity picking up, now they're playing faster. Now you've got to learn how to play fast, but not in a hurry.
Stolen by Bostic. 2-on-3 the other way.
Bostic is one of the quickest players in the SEC.
Akinbalawa to the free throw line. Flage picked up her second. Akinbalawa to the stripe. 74% this season. And the junior. LSU in the bonus the rest of the half. Will get one more free throw. First point of the quarter for Auburn, 19-17.
Now Auburn's going to have to get stops. They want to keep this close while Deonna Gaston has to be on the bench right now with those two fouls.
Slow start for Williams and Johnson. Great finish and a chance for three for Kaylin Gilbert. Well, she gets to the rim more times than not. It's going in. She's got a toughness despite being undersized down low.
That's the one thing that was never a question with Caitlin Gilbert coming in, transferred from Arizona, was the scoring. She's going to be able to create buckets. Now that she's playing at LSU and you play for Kim Mulkey, you got to play on both sides of the basketball, and she's made that transition well. 2
years at Zona, 15 points per game a year ago. IMG Academy, now 84% at the line. Sweet stroke there. And it's 22-17. Auburn will try to find a way to manufacture some offense. Talia Scott, second leading scorer, remains sidelined with an injury. Only played in 3 games this year, the transfer from Arkansas.
See, Auburn wants to get it in the paint.
Like bunched up on that far side. Bostic searching. Against Morrow, finds a way with the left hand.
Wow, that's a tough shot there by Bostic on the finish on the left side.
Morrow wide open, operating with a spin. Oh, the drop step, beautifully executed.
I think that Anissa Morrow is going to be a high draft pick in the WNBA because of the versatility. She's got handles, she's got a great motor, she has a face-up game, she's got that toughness.
Day Wilson a steal, rips it away. Smith wanted the lob, instead the mid-range for Gilbert. Akinbalawa, no. Morrow, yes. Here comes LSU. Well, Gilbert's got the basketball on a string. There it is. Inside. Yes! Johnny Harris is seated up. A 17-3 run to begin the second quarter for LSU.
After the last timeout, Kim Mulkey lit a fire under these LSU Tigers, and they have taken it up another level. It's not just Anissa Morrow, but also Caitlin Gilbert off the bench. Razzle dazzle, the Tigers have lit up.
See what happens between OU and the Lady Vols. But Tennessee, one of those other undefeated teams, in addition to our home squad here today, LSU, 16-0, ranked 6th in the country. And now a 17-3 run to begin the second quarter, trying to seize control with Anissa Morrow.
Well, Anissa Morrow, she already has 13 points, but when LSU went to play University of Illinois Chicago, it was back close in Chicago. Simeon Career Academy is where she went to high school. You know who else went there? Derrick Rose, Ben Wilson, Jabari Parker, and there's a wall of great basketball players. There have been no women, and Anissa Morrow was the first female to make the wall, so she could take that off. That was one of her basketball career goals.
Absolutely amazing. Jersey, that name will live forever in Chi-Town. Bostic wanted the foul, didn't get the call. Akambalawa, no. Third time's a charm. Not today. Ripped away by Smith. Derrick Rose, you mentioned him. His jersey also just went to the Raptors in the United Center in Chicago this week. And Williams finally on the board with 2.
In watching LSU play, their offense is predicated by how well they're doing defensively. When they come out strong on the defensive end, their offense begins to cook.
Bostic off the mark, the mid-range. And a foul inside called against Smith.
I got to find out where I can get one of those jerseys, the top of Kim Mulkey. It's a basketball hoop, and like she's in the middle of it with the basketball. Come on, Roy, I could rock that.
You definitely could rock it. An amazing get up there for Coach Mulkey on the Dress Like Kim Mulkey Day here at the arena. A lot of glitter around the ballpark, if you will, today. Great looks. In a fun environment, a loud environment with what we just experienced moments ago.
Absolutely. This fan base, they're engaged for these LSU Tigers.
Desperation even, a long 2 by Jordan Hunter. First basket for Jordan. 3 points and a rebound per game this year.
Yeah, Hunter, #1 prospect out of the state of Alabama.
And the runner on the other end, Miracle Shepherd. The Mississippi State transfer, 10th game off the bench this season. The lead is 11. 2 minutes to go in the first.
The LSU defense just taking away any straight line drives.
We'll play off of Boston, daring her to shoot. Collins miss from point blank range.
And Morrow just goes and gets it.
Her 7th rebound. Gilbert down low. Lead up to 13.
You know, LSU opened the SEC season against Arkansas, and Mulkey was pleased with that after the break.
The steal, the finish. Morrow with 15, and LSU has made 8 straight field goals. Bostic found a way in traffic. Athleticism on full display. Anissa Morrow also poured in 15 and 7, tracking for her 89th career double-double and 15th of the season. Great crowd, great environment, and the beginning of our second half right now.
Well, starting this second half, Kim Mulkey liked what Cheyenne Day Wilson was doing at running the point. She's getting to start in the second half instead of Lastier Poet.
Auburn did add 1 point to its tally during the break. They went back and reviewed a long 2. It was deemed to be a 3. Morrow on the rebound, the foul before. Samaya Smith set to shoot a pair of free throws.
The LSU was prepared for Auburn to come out. They were in that 3-2 zone, and that flash to the middle is something that they worked on in practice yesterday.
You like that move to the zone?
Well, you've got to try to stop LSU from getting the ball and being able to score in the paint. So a little change-up coming out of the locker room, not bad, but you cannot allow people to come through the lane and be unchecked.
Samaya Smith, redshirt sophomore, Texarkana, Soto High School. 72% at the line this season, one more on the way. For undefeated LSU, 6th in the country. Competitive game between South Carolina and Mississippi State early in Starkville today. And then Oklahoma trying to pull off a bit of a surprise in Knoxville this afternoon against undefeated Tennessee. And the Lady Vols on the verge of losing their first game.
Yeah, Auburn wants to get the ball right there.
Gaston back on the floor with the 2 fouls, Coach. Connects.
Absolutely. And if you can't get the ball to her on the block because of the double team, you move her around. She is such a versatile player. I'm not even going to say a post player, because she can play out on the wing, she can play at the high post, and she escapes the defense, taking it off the bounce and able to get the finish.
Gaston just picked up her 3rd foul. My next question to you is going to be, as a head coach, won a national championship, you understand what it takes. What was the philosophy if you had a player that picked up 2 fouls in the first half? Automatically to the bench, or was it a conversation?
Well, as long as your team could stay in striking distance. Now, if it just got out of hand, yeah, maybe go back. But I like, the patience. Trust your team, because you want to have her available with 3 to give in the second half.
Well, she just picked up her 3rd. We'll see what Johnny Harris elects to do.
Well, she's leaving her on the floor right now. And this is a veteran player, Gaston is. She's got to understand she can't get anything cheap. She's got to play smart if she's going to stay out there.
Transfer from Texas. Sumbani outside to Bostic. Daring her to shoot the triple. 5 on the timer.
Day Wilson is not guarding Bostic. She is constantly keeping a foot in the paint.
Gaston just picked up her 4th. 2 fouls in just over a minute with 2 in the first half. And Johnny Harris has no choice. Put her star player on the bench.
And when you have 3 fouls, you can't even make it close. You have got to try to avoid the action. When you're so valuable to the team, Gaston needed to be on the floor.
She scored 30 of Auburn's 58 points against Ole Miss on Thursday night. The natural question is, where's the offense come from? That kind of production on the bench, 2nd leading scorer in the SEC this year.
Well, Adia Young, number 21 in blue, had been some of the offense for Auburn. She's open right now. You got to find her. Got a mouse in the house mismatch inside.
Bostic took the shot. Akambala, while you mentioned the position. Flage. She's got 8. Flage Johnson now moving to 4th. Took that 5th in the SEC in scoring. Gaston in 2nd.
Now, Bostic running the point. She's the one that Johnny Harris trusts to run her team. But if she's not going to be a threat to shoot the basketball, it's going to play 4-on-5 all day long.
Collins, offensive foul.
I think that's a good defensive play there by Morrow. She gets there. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. That may be an Emmy. A little acting there by Anissa Morrow. She was falling before contact was made.
Are we allowed to change our mind in real time?
Yeah. I had to go to the monitor for the review.
You did it quickly, at least. Kayla Williams dumps it off to Morrow. She's got 17. right at her season average, and a lot of basketball left to be played today.
The defensive intensity, paying more attention to the scouting report, LSU, and that's been a problem for the Auburn Tigers.
Bostic to Collins from 15. Day Wilson running the show. LSU by 18. Hard to believe the Tigers trailed 16-11, 10 minutes in. Since then, all LSU.
Michaela Williams' ball handling ability, coming off the ball screen and then dropping dimes to Anissa Morrow. Remember, Michaela Williams had experience with 3x3 this summer, and I think that this has helped to expand her game, her creativity and the ability to score it, but also to see the floor and be ready to distribute.
Anissa Morrow, 17 and 8. Has a steal as well. First 2 points for Cheyenne Day Wilson, the Miami transfer, and Kim Mulkey. It's a slow start today, but an impressive middle portion of this game, the second and third quarters.
It's going to be important in the SEC with as tough of the conference is. You cannot afford against many teams to get off to a slow start.
You think about Oklahoma, Lady Vols, South Carolina, Texas.
Keep going.
Vanderbilt, Kentucky.
I mean, there's 8 SEC teams ranked in the top 25 right now.
Day Wilson a steal. Flage, the hesitation. And a chance for 3 or an offensive foul. She can't believe it.
Yeah, I think it's an offensive foul because I believe Flage could have pulled up for the mid-range jumper. See, right here, just pull up for the jumper. She took it that extra step because remember, the restricted area is no longer in play in the women's game.
Third foul on Flage. 6 minutes to go in the third. Jordan Hunter with an opening. Cleared by Smith, ahead to Williams, and she traveled. And Michaela Williams has really yet to get going today. Preseason second team All-SEC, Freshman of the Year. And a Louisiana native, just the 2 points.
You can see the frustration, and she came out today. LSU did not have a shoot around, but she was in the gym this morning getting up shots.
Collins, the pump fake, gets the bounce. Badly needed bucket. The visitors. That'll stop an 8-0 run for LSU. Kimbalawat clears the rebound. Hounded by Morrow.
Now Auburn with Hunter at the point. Now this is a young woman that averaged 19 points a game coming out of high school.
And Collins inside, a three-point opportunity. A couple of buckets by Taylon Collins.
Hunter opens up the floor for Auburn. That will give more room for Collins to post up. Get those paint points that Johnny Harris is looking for.
Taylon Collins, a transfer from Oklahoma State, second leading rebounder for Auburn. The 8 points today, averaging 9 this season. Kaylin Gilbert back on the floor, grabs a rebound.
Microwave. She just heats up offensively. Gilbert does for LSU.
Takes about 30 seconds, right? If that. First miss of the game on the block. Sumbani connects on the other end. 46-32.
I like that push by the freshman, Jordan Hunter, getting the ball down the floor as quickly as possible.
Morrow on the low block. Chance for Auburn to climb back in it.
They keep chipping away. The Auburn Tigers do.
It's a 20-point lead moments ago. Now down to 14. Nadia Young open for three. Big time bucket. And the lead down to 11. Gaston still on the bench with 4 fouls. So all of this happening. The leading scorer, Deanna Gaston, in foul trouble. And Williams on the release through the contact. That'll be the third on Sumbani. 46-30 for the sole fact I can't keep the resolution. After I break it the first time, I won't go back to it.
Well, see, that's it. You've got to forgive yourself. If you fall off a little bit, you break a resolution, you can pick it back up. Because there are 352 days in the year. So if you fall off on day 4, you can get right back on it. Anything you can do for 21 days, you can make a habit. So you give yourself a second chance.
Is that how many days it takes to formulate the habit?
Absolutely.
Okay.
21 days. Just give yourself a shot.
But if I break it in the middle of the 21-day stretch, do I restart the 21-day clock?
Yes.
Okay. Couple of free throws. Williams checks out. 48-35. LSU in front, trying to fend off Auburn. LSU is led by as many as 20. So you talk about the Tigers and the Tigers. If you say the Tigers, it could be any Tigers.
Either one.
You really have to clarify the entire game between Auburn and LSU.
But what has helped Auburn is the freshman Jordan Hunter to come in because she's a threat to score. And then Nadia Young has been hunting buckets all day long.
She's in double figures with 11 threes. Sumbani outside to Hunter. And the offensive rebound. Soraya Daniels lost the handle and was fouled.
Look, Auburn just won't go away because they continue to battle on the glass. Johnny Harris's New Year's resolution was to show her team the toughness. And they have demonstrated toughness when it comes to rebounding today.
One more for Daniels. Next women's basketball game here on the SEC Network Thursday. Georgia A-Moore and the Kentucky Wildcats taking on Florida down to the O-Dome in Gainesville. Coverage tips at 5 Eastern. Kenny Brooks and UK back on the basketball map this season in a very big way with a couple of key transfers and a top 20 ranking. You're number 1, Miracle Shepherd. Isamoro. Ball never touched the rim. No reset of the shot clock. And a turnover on the traveling violation. Well, you know, Kim Mulkey loves the start to this season. Undefeated, ranked in the top 10, all that. You still get the sense she wants a little bit more from this team. Keep the foot on the gas, maybe a little bit more on defense, and a chance to take that next step and win another national championship.
Not a little bit more on defense. She wants a whole lot more on the defensive side. This is how her programs have won. It has been because they've been one of the best defensive teams in the country.
And an offensive foul on Young. Speaking of defense.
Last year, Poa is one of the best at rotating in, willing to sacrifice her body and take that charge. It's number 13 in white in position.
So we've seen more of last year Poa the last few minutes. Miracle Shepherd here in the third quarter. She's got the ball now. Kaylin Gilbert between the legs, behind the back, weaving. Count it.
She shook her head. They can't guard me. She has got that dog mentality.
11 points per game this year. My question, is she working towards a spot and a position, more minutes and a chance to put up more than what we've already seen? How long until that happens, or does it?
More minutes, yes. She doesn't necessarily have to move into the starting position.
Great look inside, Wolfenbarger. 52-35. More pressure by Poa. You can feel the change in the air when LSU turns it up defensively. 5 on the timer. Hunter got caught. And the call against LSU. Well, for a minute I thought the jump ball was going to be signaled. Instead, a foul against the home team. Morrow picks up her second.
Auburn needs a bucket right here, desperately.
Adia Young somehow, someway, threw it up and in. Give her 13. And stolen, Sumbani. 4-on-2 the other way. Outside to Hunter. And the putback is there for Milton.
That's a good little spark for Auburn as it comes. The third quarter is coming to an end.
52-39. Auburn within striking distance on the road. All this coming with Deanna Gaston with 4 fouls. And then Kaylin Gilbert happens again, this time from distance.
Note to self, don't back off of number 16.
They say it's a long 2. Shot clock is off. Jordan Hunter. Unable to answer. And that is how our third quarter comes to a close. Kaylin Gilbert with 17.
It's like being able to reach in your pocket and you find $5. That's what you got when you find Kaylin Gilbert from the bench for the LSU Tigers. Medals, and she is just walking wisdom when it comes to giving advice to players. If you want to play at the next level, that's a woman you need to listen to.
Walking wisdom. Nobody's ever looked at me and accused me of having that. That is now a new goal. That could be my New Year's resolution.
Okay, we're starting somewhere, Roy.
That somebody somewhere says one day, doesn't even have to be this year, walking wisdom.
Hey, there you go.
He's not very tall, but he's got it. Carolyn Peck, Roy Philpott. 10 minutes to go. Happy New Year from the PMAC. And a 15-point lead for number 6 and undefeated LSU. There were 7 unbeatens before this game today. Left, including 2 in the SEC. Tennessee was on the ropes earlier, right as we were coming on the air at home against Oklahoma. And the Lady Vols under first-year head coach Tim Caldwell tested by the new-look Sooners in the Southeastern Conference, and it was OU that pulled one out at Food City Center by a single point.
1 point.
We're just seeing that for the first time, 87-86. So some drama in Knoxville.
Roy, good thing we've got the app. That's one I want to go back and see how that game came to an end.
Indeed. LSU gets it back. Morrow, by the way, another double-double. That's her 15th of the season. 89 in her career. Top 5 all-time in that category. And Cheyenne Day Wilson at the stripe. 3 of 10 at the line coming into this game. 2 of 3 today. Hey, coming up Tuesday night here on the SEC Network and the app, it's a men's doubleheader, 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Top 10 Kentucky invades the Classic City, Georgia. LSU at Mizzou. That's at 9, a doubleheader Tuesday night here on the SEC Network. How about the Cats yesterday at home against Florida? 106-100. The points per possession through the roof for both sides. Elite level hoops on display. An elite finish by Taylon Collins.
Kobe Bryant came off the bench.
He didn't miss.
23 points. 7 for 9 from the three-point line.
If he's open from behind the arc, feels like a layup.
Oh, he's open when he gets out of his car in the parking lot. He's got to look for his shot.
Jemiah Smith, over 52% from 3 this year for Bryant. Lead back to 16. Now Auburn playing really without Deanna Gaston most of this game, in foul trouble. No Talia Scott, who's been injured. Only played in 3 games this year. You look at their averages this season, Coach, that's 23 and 20. Johnny Harris's team has competed today. They've shown toughness today. You got too much firepower for LSU. Michaela Williams now getting involved.
Well, Williams get cooking. Flajay Johnson get going. I don't know how long Johnny Harris can play without having Gaston on the floor.
2 minutes into the fourth. Lead's been as high as 20. Gaston with 4 fouls, 2 in the first half, 2 in the first 75 seconds of the second, and remains sidelined.
Like, she averages 23 points a game over the last 4, even against Arkansas, as much as against Ole Miss, as much attention that Ole Miss was playing to her, she was still able to put up 30.
I thought the Ole Miss Texas A&M game that concluded during our halftime break.
Big win for Joni Taylor to be able to pull off that victory on the home court to start, get things rolling for the Aggies.
You and I were talking pregame about the conference, how good of a start it's gotten off to. 8 teams in the top 25 right now, the AP poll. Impressive showing against non-conference foes. You've got South Carolina, you've got Texas, Oklahoma doing its thing today in Knoxville. Another bucket down low. Michaela Williams starting to heat up.
That was a strong move by Williams to finish. Even Kim Mulkey gave the flex, point to the bicep on that one.
Coach doesn't believe in New Year's resolutions, does believe in Michaela Williams, as does most of America. Her ability and production. Steal by Morrow.
Oh,
Smith traveled.
She took a lot of steps. A lot of steps.
You get the flex sign from Coach Mulkey. Sunday afternoon, that's a good day at the office.
Well, in the SEC, you're going to have to play strong. You're going to have to be intentional. When you go to the basket, you go with a purpose. Don't go in there begging for fouls, but the finish. And that's exactly what Williams did.
She looked back her direction of her head coach, trotting back down the court. Bostic trying to spot Gaston, who just checked back in. First time we've seen her in more than a quarter. Smith will pick up her second, trying to defend number 5 for Auburn. Texas transfer. Curious to get your take on her potential next level, pro ranks, or a player like Deanna Gaston, who's certainly improved and found her way at Auburn. The wins haven't followed, but she's going to need some help in league play.
Well, she's 6'2", and she's got a diverse skill set in her game. She has a nice face-up game. She can score it. She can post up. High energy. She's healthy now. That has been something that's really plagued her over her career when she was at Texas. In and out, not consistently being on the floor. And she said this year, knock on wood, she feels the best that she has.
We talked to her this morning. That's exactly what she said. Now healthy. You want to keep that trend going. Tigers now have their largest lead at 22.
See, Bostic, she's got to give it up and then go screen. She's not going to be able to. Number 12 in blue is not going to be able to make the entry pass because her person is helping inside.
First on Williams, LSU in the midst of an 8-0 run again. Have you seen enough from our vantage point with LSU on defense today? Has the effort been there?
Oh, absolutely. It really picked up once the second quarter got going. Yes, that was the intensity, I believe, that Kim Mulkey was looking for.
That's a 4th on Flajay Johnson.
You know, the thing that Kim has this year, too, is if you're not getting it done defensively on the floor, she can look at the bench and go, okay, next man up. So that keeps you on point, keeps you accountable, and keeps a competitive mindset for each of the players.
Audia Young, 65% at the line today. Rare miss Anything she's been able to get off. 5 of 7 from the floor, 13 points. Left-handed release. Make it 14. At the top of the league between Texas, LSU, South Carolina. How do you see that race down the stretch? And knowing that it can change and other teams can get involved.
Well, and Tennessee just lost by 1. They have tremendous depth. And if you can't take care of the basketball, Tennessee can be a problem. South Carolina, depth as well.
Flau'jae Johnson, cool, calm, collected. Double figures again with 10.
I think it's going to be the teams in the SEC that do have those reserves that can come in and bring something extra when they go to the bench.
Off the steal. Johnson in transition. Now with a dozen.
See, that's what Flau'jae can do. She can just turn up at look, the snap of a finger. Take her energy, her effort, her production on the court and say that's an automatic W.
No such thing exists in this conference. Should mention Alabama, just 1 loss so far this year, undefeated in league play as well. Head coach Christy Curry has her team ranked in the top 25. You know Ole Miss is going to be there doing things, despite its setback in College Station. So there's some brands that have proven themselves in the NCAA tournament, getting there, advancing. And now can some of those teams, the upper to middle echelon of the league, take that next step in a season like the one we're experiencing.
The thing that is most consistent in the SEC is the physical and athletic ability to defend. It's going to be the teams that are able to score against that top defense that are going to be able to emerge to the top.
8 teams currently in the top 25 in the conference, including 4 in the top 10, and that's not likely to change after what's transpired this weekend and going back to Thursday night. A blocking foul. Sumbani picks up her 4th. And she remains on the deck and uncomfortable. Johnny Harris, along with the staff, going to walk out towards the free throw line.
I even think Flau'jae Johnson understood how hard a collision that was, because she reached to almost try to help somebody not fall to the floor.
Celia Sumbani on her feet. And the collision you reference, indicative of what we've seen in this game this afternoon.
As Flau'jae drives. Look, she tries to help her, tries to catch her, because she knows that collision had a lot of force.
Sumbani appears to be okay. That's right. Daniels checks in. Halfway home in our 4th quarter. Auburn will get Arkansas Neville Arena coming up on Thursday night. LSU, we just mentioned the matchup in Knoxville. The top 15 showdown.
And Lady Vols, Talasia Cooper, she has been fantastic for the Lady Vols.
67-44. Back to Baton Rouge.
That perimeter scorer, when you have that will open up things for Gaston inside, Collins inside, and they'll be able to diversify their offense playing inside and out.
Gaston also missed a game with an ailment. Savannah Scott out for the season, and Gaston on cue. Finds a way to get a double figures today with 10 despite the 4 fouls, with Talia Scott looking on. Flau'jae off the mark.
Look, if Auburn's going to make a run, now's the time.
Hunter inside, Gaston again.
I like the composure of Jordan Hunter. Very composed on the floor. Number 2 in blue for Auburn.
Whipped inside to Flau'jae. Morrow, guess what? 19 and 13 on the board for number 24. inside a foul. Taylon Collins to the free throw line.
The paint just opens up with Jordan Hunter running the point for Auburn, and they're able to not have to run a whole lot of offense, just come down and look inside.
69-48. Leah Del Rosario checks in for the first time. The 23 for LSU. Well, amidst everything that's occurred in this game today, there's been a lot after Auburn got out to a 5-point lead 10 minutes in. LSU 0 for 5 from three-point range.
And that's where you kind of question Auburn look at a zone. Yeah, in trying a team that's not shooting the ball, hadn't gotten into the rhythm from three. But the problem with that is you only have less than 4 minutes left. It's going to take a lot of time off the clock.
Gilbert had the one shot with her toe about an inch over the line at the end of the half. LSU without a three-pointer the first time this season. Poachek's back in. Gilbert to the bench.
Turnovers are not going to be tolerated by Kim Mulkey.
And Gilbert and Coach have an extended conversation after she sat down on the LSU bench. Jordan Hunter. Young. Wide left. Save to Hunter. 69-52.
That freshman's got gumption.
Williams sizes up a triple. Morrow finds the basketball per usual. And inside, Del Rosario.
Del Rosario's played limited minutes so far this season. If she can get back on track like she ended the season last year, she'd be a major force inside for the Tigers.
And perhaps a little bit more needed from her. And a timeout called by Johnny Harris. 2:17 to go. Auburn down 19. Been a hang-around team so far today, despite the injuries and the foul problems for Deanna Gaston. Tigers, we mentioned, will get Arkansas at Neville Arena Thursday night. That's coming up next. And a road trip to Lexington, number 5 Texas, Mizzou, and then to Starkville.
Again, just like on the men's side, the women's side, there's no night off, no easy game, no gimme game. It's going to be a battle. When you look at the bracketology, how many teams are trying to get in?
We highlighted that road trip to Knoxville Thursday for LSU. Florida then at number 2 South Carolina on ESPN towards the end of the month for Kim Mulkey's team.
Well, I'll be here Monday for that Vanderbilt game, and that'll be interesting because Shea Ralph has a team that can definitely score the basketball, real challenge the defense of LSU.
Got to look at the Vanderbilt men's team yesterday with Mark Byington here. And they are not going to be anything close to an easy out in league play, and perhaps an NCAA tournament team. Gaston has 1 3 on the season. That one off the mark and was bothered by Del Rosario.
I'm not sure that's what Johnny Harris wanted out of the timeout. You bring Gaston out, Del Rosario up. That's where you have driving lanes for your guards.
Stolen by Gaston. And the 3 from the wing. And it's all net. Adia Young continues her good work from distance. Now her 4th 3-ball. There were 17 today.
You can see Auburn has some pieces to build on. It's just the consistency of having them all on the floor at the same time.
And Gaston's got to stay out of foul trouble.
That's true.
I mean, that goes without saying.
That's huge.
Morrow with a strength, the finish. 21 and 14 for Anissa Morrow.
I mean, her numbers are just gaudy, the production of Morrow. and it's every single night.
So consistent. You know exactly what you're going to get. 89 career double-doubles. Top 5 all-time in that regard. 15 double-doubles this season. Gaston connects. 14 on the board. Deanna Gaston. Flage crossed up. Turns it over. Good defense from Soraya Daniels. Try to rebound to the slate. And a bucket. And stepping over was LSU. They'll turn it over, give it back to Auburn here.
You don't want to have those kind of turnovers at the end of the game because those are the ones that end up in the film room in practice tomorrow.
What is that like when you're watching and a play like that occurs? Whole team is there collected watching something like that, a mistake.
Oh, you just go, yeah, coach ain't going to be happy about that. An unforced turnover at that.
Gaston with 16. And she has found a way to get hers today in limited PT. That makes me uncomfortable just picturing that mental image for a moment. Step over the end line, trying to inbound it, turnover. Yeah.
Well, that's when the coach hits the pause button and says, what were you thinking? And then says, oh, you weren't thinking to allow that kind of turnover.
Kaylin Gilbert, a Euro. How about a steal? Williams. And ahead to Gaston. Whips it over to Young. At the buzzer, Young with 19. But it's LSU and a 10-point victory. It was hard-earned, hard-fought, and a solid dub for undefeated LSU. Now 17-0 and 2-0 in the SEC. For Carolyn Peck, I'm Roy Philpott. We say good afternoon from Baton Rouge, SEC.